Hello and welcome. I'm Chad Whitko, a specialist in avian biology with the National Audubon Society's Migratory Bird Initiative. This is the first of three how-to videos featuring key resources in the Southern Wings online guide powered by data from the Bird Migration Explorer. This video will center on focal migratory species and multi-species connection maps featured on each state's page. Be sure to check out the other two videos where we'll explore single species maps, conservation challenges, and spotlight project partners who help bring these migration insights to life through your conservation work. Let's get started. Since this resource is a key feature of the online guide, it's important to first introduce the Bird Migration Explorer. Launched in the fall of 2022 with support from 9 founding partners, the Bird Migration Explorer, also offered in Spanish, known as Explore Aves, is a free interactive tool that showcases the incredible journeys of over 450 bird species and the challenges they face along the way. The Bird Migration Explorer offers 3 main map types: bird species, locations, and conservation challenges. It brings together invaluable tracking data from hundreds of scientists across nearly 300 organizations, along with over 6 million location connections from banding records and genetic studies. With this, the Southern Wings online guide provides a resource that state wildlife agencies can use to implement full annual cycle conservation for priority species, including species of greatest conservation need. It is intended to be a one-stop shop to easily access science to guide state investments to places in Latin America and the Caribbean, where conservation actions will have maximum benefits for species of greatest conservation need. It will also help states identify potential partner organizations working in those regions. The Southern Wings online guide helps state agencies maximize the impact of their resources by providing easy access to full annual cycle conservation planning tools. Each state page compiles data from the Migratory Connectivity Project, Bird Migration Explorer, and eBird Status and Trends to support data-driven decision-making and integration of full annual cycle strategies into state wildlife action plans. By offering novel and complementary data sources, the guide helps states target conservation investments, strengthen partnerships across the Western Hemisphere, and enhance protection for species of greatest conservation need. Now, when you arrive on the Southern Wings homepage, go to the top toolbar and click Online Guide, or click on the Browse Online Guide by State button, as highlighted here by the pink boxes. Organized by state, each page of the guide includes an overview, focal species, key partners, and additional resources. In this example, we are scrolling down and selecting the state of Washington. At the top of each state page, you'll find 4 key links that help you jump to specific content within the page. For this video, we'll click on focal species as highlighted here in the pink box. Clicking focal species takes you to the focal migratory species section of the guide, where each state has a compiled list of neotropical migratory species identified across multiple initiatives. Focusing on the table, we see that this list includes a compilation of 13 species for the state of Washington. We'll explore the focal migratory species account section of this guide in another video, which directly aligns with the focal field in the right-hand column of the table highlighted here in pink. This highlighted field indicates if a focal species account has been provided for a given species for the selected state, in this case, Washington. But for now, let's focus on the multi-species connections maps created from the full list of 13 species shown here in this table. Note, for more details on how the focal migratory species tables were created, scroll down to find an expandable section that explains the methodology behind their development and the information they include. Scrolling down from the focal migratory species section of the guide, we arrive at multi-species connections and its associated map. Tracking data from the Bird Migration Explorer was used to demonstrate direct connections between states and areas across the hemisphere, based on tracking and banding data for individual birds, serving as a complementary resource to the maps provided by Cornell. Multi-species connections maps show the direct connections made by individuals of focal species, which includes species of greatest conservation concern and road to recovery species. As previously stated, these maps are based on tracking, banding, and genetic data shared by hundreds of scientists, institutions, and organizations, all for the Bird Migration Explorer. They're based on known connections for the focal species. These maps are complementary to the shared stewardship maps, which are above on the page, and were described in other how-to videos, and provide unique information to guide states' investments outside the US. They show the places in Latin America that Washington State, in this case, is most connected to through migratory birds, highlighting the places in Latin America where it may be most beneficial to focus conservation efforts, partnerships, and investments. For each map, users can learn how it was made and download a copy. It's also important to note that at this point, the user can also click on links shown here in the pink boxes to visit the Bird Migration Explorer and explore this feature in greater detail. Upon arriving at the Bird Migration Explorer, users can access the multi-species connection maps by selecting locations, either from the top navigation bar or from the list of map types on the left side of the screen via the red buttons, shown here by the pink box and pink arrow. Once on the locations page of the Bird Migration Explorer, users can choose their location, such as Olympia, Washington, as shown here in this example. When considering these different resources, it's important to note that the maps on southern wings, while derived from the Bird Migration Explorer, are distinct from those on the Explorer itself because they are based on a curated species list, not all available species and data that are found on the Bird Migration Explorer. Also important to highlight, multi-species connections shown in southern wings are summarized for the entire state, as seen here on the left. Whereas in the Bird Migration Explorer, shown here on the right, multi-species connections are done from a single hexagon at a much smaller geographic scale. Again, highlighted here for the selected location of Olympia, Washington. While using the online guide, from multi-species connections, scroll down to see detailed maps and conservation challenges for specific focal migratory species within their individual accounts. For a deeper dive, be sure to check out our additional video about this section. And for broader insights into migration connections, visit the Bird Migration Explorer to explore interactive maps and data on where these birds travel throughout the year. Finally, scrolling further, you'll find details on partner organizations working to protect migratory birds. Our brief but dedicated video on project partners in this how-to video series will cover this in more detail. We hope this video has been helpful. Be sure to check out our other 2 videos in this series. Thank you for watching.